Dorilla the gorilla stared at the glowing screen. His hands trembled. His coffee spilled onto the wooden table inside his forest cabin. The number was gone. Not smaller, not reduced, gone. 20 years of pension savings, gone. The account he had checked every month. The account he had trusted more than his own eyes. The account that was supposed to feed him for the rest of his life. Zero. Nothing but empty space. The old gorilla blinked again. Maybe he clicked the wrong button. Maybe the jungle internet was broken. Maybe. But deep inside, he already knew. Something terrible had happened. Something that had been growing quietly for years. Something nobody had warned him about. And as Dorilla stared into the darkness beyond his cabin window, one question echoed through the forest. How could 20 years disappear overnight? The answer began 20 years earlier. Long before the numbers vanished, long before the regret, long before Dorilla met the fox.
20 years earlier, the jungle looked different. Dorilla was younger, stronger. Every sunrise, he carried logs through the forest. Every winter storm, every scorching summer, every aching muscle, he worked. While other animals spent berries recklessly, Dorilla saved. While others chased shiny opportunities, Dorilla stayed disciplined. His dream was simple: a peaceful retirement, a small cabin, fresh fruit every morning. No stress, no worries, just safety. One afternoon, after finishing a long shift, Dorilla sat beside the river. That's when Saru the monkey appeared. Saru never seemed worried about money, never seemed stressed, never seemed careful.
Why work so hard?
Saru laughed. Dorilla smiled.
Because one day I'll stop working.
Saru grinned.
Then you need someone smarter than you managing your future.
Those words sounded harmless, but they planted a seed that would grow into disaster. Because a few weeks later, Saru introduced Dorilla to someone special, someone every animal in the forest seemed to trust: Kitsune, the fox. Kitsune was charming, calm, confident. His office sat beneath giant oak trees. Every wall displayed awards, certificates, photos with respected jungle leaders. Everything looked impressive, too impressive, but Dorilla didn't notice. Most victims never do. The fox listened carefully, nodding, smiling, understanding every retirement dream Dorilla described. Then Kitsune leaned forward.
You've worked too hard to make mistakes now.
The words hit Dorilla's heart. The fox continued.
I'll protect your pension. I'll make sure your future stays safe. Safe. That was Gorilla's favorite word.
For years, Dorilla deposited money every month without fail, and every statement looked wonderful. The balance climbed higher, higher, higher. Dorilla felt secure, protected, prepared. What he didn't know was that safety and appearance are not always the same thing. Years passed. Dorilla grew older. His pension statements kept arriving. Everything looked perfect. Maybe too perfect. One rainy evening, Dorilla noticed something strange. The paperwork had become harder to understand. Longer, more complicated, filled with confusing words. When he asked questions, the fox always had answers. Fast answers, smooth answers, comforting answers.
Don't worry, everything is normal. These are sophisticated investments.
The explanations sounded intelligent. Dorilla trusted him. After all, the account was growing, or so it appeared. Meanwhile, Saru bragged constantly.
Kitsune made me rich. Kitsune knows everything. Kitsune beats the market.
Every conversation reinforced the same message. Trust the fox. Trust the system. Trust the statements. But deep beneath the roots of the forest, a dangerous truth was quietly growing. And one day, it would surface. The day finally arrived. Retirement. Dorilla celebrated with friends. The cabin was ready. The garden was planted. The future looked bright. For the first time in decades, no alarm clock, no heavy lifting, no exhausting workdays, just peace. Dorilla contacted Kitsune. It was time to begin receiving pension income. A simple request, a lifetime in the making. The fox seemed nervous, only slightly, barely noticeable. Dorilla ignored it. Then weeks passed. No payment arrived. Excuses appeared. Paperwork delays, system updates, verification issues. The explanations kept changing. Dorilla's stomach tightened. Something felt wrong, very wrong. Then, one morning, the fox stopped answering entirely.
Dorilla drove through the forest, straight to the fox's office. The building was empty. The signs were gone. The doors were locked. The awards? Gone. The certificates? Gone. Everything had vanished, just like the pension. Panic surged through his chest. He rushed home, opened his account. Zero. The old gorilla sat silently, unable to breathe, unable to think. 20 years gone. The retirement dream collapsed in seconds. The cabin suddenly felt smaller, darker, colder. Sleep disappeared. Fear took its place. What happens when you're too old to start over? That question haunted every night. And then, someone unexpected arrived. Kamei the turtle sat beside Dorilla. Quietly, patiently. The wise turtle didn't begin with advice. Instead, he asked a question.
Dorilla, did you ever understand where your money was invested?
The gorilla lowered his head.
No.
Did you verify the reports independently?
No.
Did you spread your savings across different trees?
No.
Silence filled the room. Then Kamei spoke softly.
The fox didn't steal your future in one day.
Dorilla looked up.
The danger began the day you stopped asking questions.
The words stung, but they were true. Kamei explained something powerful. Real safety is not blind trust. Real safety is understanding, even a small understanding, even simple questions, even basic verification, because confidence can be faked, but truth leaves tracks. Over the following months, Kamei taught Dorilla, not complicated formulas, not fancy predictions, simple wisdom. Never place your entire future in one pair of hands. Never confuse promises with proof. Never chase comfort so strongly that you stop paying attention. Kamei showed Dorilla how strong trees survive storms, not because they're magical, because their roots spread wide, diversified, stable, flexible. The same principle applied to retirement. Some income from pensions, some from dividends, some from savings, some from secure reserves. No single branch carrying the entire weight. The lesson wasn't about becoming rich. It was about surviving, and survival matters most when retirement arrives. The road back was difficult, painfully difficult. Dorilla couldn't recover every berry he lost. Nobody could. But something surprising happened. He stopped focusing on what disappeared and started focusing on what remained. His experience, his knowledge, his discipline, his ability to adapt. Slowly, Dorilla created new income streams, small ones, reliable ones. He reduced expenses, avoided speculation, stayed patient. The process wasn't exciting. It wasn't flashy, but it worked. And each month, confidence returned. Not confidence in a fox, confidence in himself, the strongest kind. Years later, Dorilla often sat beside the river, watching younger animals rush through life.
Many reminded him of himself, trusting strangers, ignoring warning signs, believing appearances. So he shared his story, not because he enjoyed remembering it, because someone needed to hear it. Maybe someone watching right now. The greatest retirement risk isn't always a market crash. It isn't always a recession. It isn't even inflation. Sometimes, the greatest risk is giving away responsibility for your future and never looking back. The fox vanished, the money vanished, but the lesson remained. And that lesson became more valuable than any statement ever printed. As the sun set over the forest, Kame smiled. Dorilla smiled. Because although retirement had not unfolded the way he planned, he finally understood something many never learn. Trust is important, but understanding is protection. And in the jungle of money, protection is everything.